Hello, today I'd like to talk to you about some modifications I've made to my Tamiya rising fighter. To start with, not for anything other than aesthetics, if you can see from the reflections on the body shell, I've basically stuck some clear plexiglass. This helps, as far as I'm concerned, to keep the dust down of that little head and shoulders of the driver. So that's the first bit. Secondly, as in most cases, we've updated the shocks to oil filled, both front and rear. The front ones are from standard fitment from another kit. I think it was my Aero Avanti when I upgraded the shocks on that one. The rear ones I purchased online for about £8, £9 a pair. Interesting, what we found was for the suspension travel is it's better to remove the oil out of them. Far better than the standard non-friction shocks, but allows the suspension to move up and down easier without the oil in them. The next thing I did was made myself a clear motor pinion cover, as you can see there. It's quite easy. I think it's 2mm plexiglass. Drew round the original plastic housing, cut it out with hacksaws, then using my multi-tool, as you can see there, with the flexible lead, I smoothed off the edges, then drilled the holes, and bish bash bosh, we can now see how the pinion gears are doing without having to take it all apart. Coming back to the shocks, I personally wasn't happy with the position of the rear shocks as standard. As you can see, there's quite a lot of angle on it one way, and also if I turn it round you can see there's quite a lot of angle the other way. So I scrabbled around all my spares to see if there was any way I could improve that, and eventually found these. Now these are part of the steering linkage again of the Aero Avanti, and looking at it I thought they would be ideal. So as you can see on the other shock, this was the outcome. You end up with less of an angle front to back, and then virtually straight up on the side to side. To complete this mod though, if I turn it back round, what you'll see if you have one yourself is this hole here. I had to drill that hole there to ensure, oh, it's going to fall off my stand, to ensure that this didn't bounce up and down on the original hole. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly show you how it all goes together. So once the shock's off, I drilled the hole to M3 size, and I don't know if you can quite see there, but there's a spacer. I think that's 4mm spacer just to line up these holes. So the screw goes through there, and eventually, yep, goes into place there. Then I used a fairly long thread, M3 thread screw, sorry, to mount it onto the original mount point, like so. Then, as you can see, that then straightens out all the angles on the shock mount. To mount this, I used again a 16mm M3 thread. I don't have any self-tappers, but these generally screw into the plastic quite well. Then on the bottom mount, as you can see, the washers fell off, but I put a washer and a nylock nut, but I won't bother showing you that. I think everybody knows how to tighten up a nut and bolt. So that's those upgrades I did. A further one which I would highly recommend to everybody that's got one of these is to change the stock front tyres. As you can see here, they're like the old Formula 1 treaded tyres, for a set of these, which are Fast Tracks turf rippers. Really cheap, I think, at roughly about £6 a pair. So that's that, and they do grip really well. The other thing I always do on all my cars is to upgrade all the bearings from the nylon rubbish things to these sealed roller balls. And then coming round to the motor, due to the not brilliant chassis, the fastest motor I feel comfortable with running is a 21 turn brushed, which is plenty fast enough. It is quite fast considering how cheap the car was. So those that I can remember are the upgrades that I've done on my Tamiya Rising Fighter that I haven't already shown on other videos.